Hello, everyone. I am Alessandro Fusco, and I'm a Future Food Japan director. It's a pleasure to kick off the Japanese side event on the occasion of the International Day of Awareness of Food Loss and Waste, and the initiative that we are connected with, Every Plate Counts Challenge. The International Day of Awareness of Food Loss and Waste will be observed for the third time. And this day will make a clear call to action for public and private entities from across the food system and consumers to work together to cut food and loss and waste, to mitigate climate change and support food security and nutrition. Indeed, food loss and waste is, without any doubt, one of the most evident results of the paradoxes of the current paradigm, which is unable to value and essential resources for survival and to correctly manage its conservation and distribution. Today, the entire humanity is celebrating the International Day, whose United Nations resolution in 2019 is the result of a cooperative effort that Future Food Institute has been part of. Future Food Institute is an inclusive network and an inspiration platform that is sparkling exponential positive change in the global food system. And it has a strong focus on education, as it recognizes the powerful influence education has over the whole food ecosystem. Now, we are in Tokyo. We are at Suiba Kitchen Studio, which is part of Kiyobashi Living Lab, co-designed in partnership with Tokyo Tatemono. Tokyo Tatemono is Japan's first compressive real estate company, which aims to evolve into a next generation developer that, among many goals, work on solutions to solve social issues. So through Kiyobashi Living Lab, the hub in Japan of Future Food Institute, so Future Food Japan, is supporting Japanese organizations to develop a sustainable society and regenerate the food ecosystem. Of course, through food education and innovation, with the aim to build prosperity-driven communities. As Future Food Japan, we do our part today. As mentioned, this side event is connected with the initiative Every Plate Counts Challenge. Future Food Institute, Food for Soul, WWF, UNEP, and FAO are organizing a powerful social media campaign connecting the dots of the actions around the world, focused on reducing food loss and waste. Through this initiative, we think that now it's time to act. And the challenge that we would like to share with all of you is to reimagine, create, and share with us your favorite cooking tips, recipes, and food traditions, turning your food surplus at home, left behind or leftover ingredients into edible and nutritious bites. Let me share the screen because I really would like to really give you. Yeah, so you could visit this site with this website, Every Plate Counts Challenge, where you could find how to take the challenge, resources, and how to share your stories, how to be part of the movement, how to act into your community. From today, this social media campaign start today until the 16th of October on the occasion of the World Food Day. But of course, we need to act every day. So now it's time to start our lectures, our conversation, to share the case studies. And I'm very happy to leave the stage to Mai in order to introduce our speakers, our guests, and in order to start from here for Japan to share what we are doing here that is very, very valuable, and spread the voice around the world. So let's start and have a nice conversation.
Good afternoon, Alexandro. 昨晩、ようやくイタリアから到着したアレクサンドロさんからのお話でした。
Last evening, Alexandro just arrived in Japan. Now we would like to begin the meeting. So we would like to share the situation of food loss and the waste. And we would like to introduce 4 lecturers who are very thoughtful about this issue. And if you have any questions, please put your questions on the chat box. Our first speaker is going to be a lecturer who is studying on the relationship with the stomach and the food culture. We would like to welcome Professor Noriko Yuzawa. And after that, the organization, which started as an organic activities, and we have more than 6,000 organizations, which are children's cafeteria. And we would like to invite the speaker who talk about the children's cafeteria. And among them, we have invited a representative from a children's cafeteria who runs the cafeteria in Minato Ward, Tokyo, Ms. Seiko Fukuzaki. And the following, the inequality may lead to a severe damage in the society, and that could be mitigated by reducing the food loss. And currently, the Kuradashi, the company, the founder, the Tatsuya Sekito, the founder of this corporation, he's going to talk about the role of private corporation, as well as the educational programs and the social service programs. And finally, we have invited the chef, very unique chef, Mr. Kan Morieda, about how to utilize the food waste and how to be creative and reinvent the food materials. Now we would like to welcome Professor Yuzawa. The floor is yours. Good evening, everyone. Very nice to meet you. I'm Noriko Yuzawa. I'm from Hosei University. I am at the kitchen studio right in the center of Tokyo. And this is a very unique event and very inspirational to have this kind of event where we can discuss these issues, so that I hope that our time will be very fruitful. And I would like to share my slides. And today, my presentation is going to be about the food loss and waste and how to live and how to eat. And this is the agenda for my presentation today. I have 4 agenda items today. The first one is stomach and society, which means that eating and food and how the society is related to that. And I'm going to talk about my research focus. And second is the history of food social service. And this is relevant to Dr. Fukuzaki's presentation. And the number 3 is local food story, LFS. This is something that I'm working with my students. And this is relevant to Sekito-san's speech or Morieda-san's speech. And finally, I will talk about connecting food, farming, and people. So the question is how we can connect people through our own stories, connecting food, farming, and people and society. And the story in the center is very important. Now, let's start my presentation. So the first one is stomach and society. I have published 3 books about food. So this is the observing society through stomach. And this is a very unique idea. So thinking about eating is that caring about yourself. About 100 years ago in Japan, or after post-war era, so these stories were observed and studied. So the sharing the stories about so sharing stories about food with students. I have written these books. So this is the research about food. So we had researches about food itself, but we didn't have much studies about eating. And the famous researcher, Fernand Braudel, he said in the traditional history book, humans did not eat nor drink. This is a famous quote. So during this unstable times, we now must ask how we can respond to these times. So my question is, what does stomach mean to you? And together with my friends and students, and also the young children, like elementary school students, I ask this question. So what does stomach mean to you? Please think about that. And you can, I have drawn the picture like this. So on the right-hand side here, myself, and on the left-hand side, it's society. And you can put the paper sticker like this. So if you're a student, people think that the stomach is something related to yourself. But usually you put stickers to yourself so that it's something very private. But is that really true? I have another question. So what do you get from food? Nutrition? Fun? Memories? You could think about many things.
社会、右側に、物質栄養、それから左側に文化と、こういうマトリックスを作ってみますと、こんな風
When
に。
you create a matrix that looks like this, you can have, it looks like that. And a lot of people paste their sticker on the me side, but the B that's nutrition and society, that means people have to eat because there's a social norm that we have to eat. This is a workshop done by high school students. Well, people usually paste stickers on me, but this is by elementary school students. Elementary school students usually do not choose what to eat. That's why they do not paste on me. They usually associate to society. But after people grow up and start choosing what to eat, then they would start pasting on the me side. So we can see, and also it was really good to realize that kids usually don't choose what to eat, but as they grow, they would start to choose what to eat. And also, we have done this workshop with various age ranges. And usually young people say me, but people who went through war would usually paste their stick in the middle and say, eating is peace, eating is happiness. And so it's when you see how people react to this matrix, it made me feel that I want to continue this conversation with people from all age ranges. And when we do this, I used to think that food is for myself, but we have this project such as, well, the children's cafeteria. I also help out children's cafeteria, but first, it was just a place where people serve food, but now they also have like learning sessions, events, workshops, etc. So the cafeteria is having more and more means, more and more possibilities. So food loss and waste, regarding food loss and waste, it might be possible for people to share their comments and ideas between all generations about food loss. And there are food banks that collect food from local people or companies and secure the access to food. And recently, because of the pandemic, it's becoming a food pantry. But I think a lot of you have already been involved in this process. But at food pantries, when you give the food, children would start eating by themselves. Then that would be going into the food contact section. People would know the story, how the food came, etc. The kids would have such chance to know the stories of each ingredients at each children's cafeteria or food pantries. I hope there can be more and more of such places. And I also write this newspaper. I'm a newspaper writer. This is called Children's Cafeteria Newspaper. So I always try to teach the kids that you can change or like process the food so that you can make food more tasty. Like this, I just had an article about how to make a sandwich and I also got comments and feedbacks from kids that they have made the sandwiches and it was good. But after the children learn that by processing their food by themselves, food becomes tastier, then they would start communicating with their family and local neighbors saying, oh, this menu was so good, just try that, etc. And my study is about history. Let us go back to 100 years ago in Japan. Actually, in Japan, these social projects on food used to exist since 100 years ago. It's just like children's cafeteria right now. So why did this happen? There were a lot of financial crises, like the rice riot in 1918 and 1923 Great Kanto earthquake. So that's 100 years ago. So after these financial crises, people were at risk. People's food were at risk. And then this is this is a quote, but it said the current social problems are problems in our stomachs. So us people create the society, and not only we have to satisfy not only our stomach, but the society's stomach. That's what we do. So that's why we have the children's cafeterias, and also we have food pantries, food banks, etc. And not only satisfy each people's hunger, we have to share safety and happiness so that people can feel satisfied and happy. So this photo is, well, right now we had a huge disaster as well, but this was after the Great Kanto earthquake. It says that the person in this picture, in this drawing, he opened a flour dumpling for people who were at the disaster, who were hurt at the disaster. Our society can learn from these past experiences. And another example is in Massachusetts, in the States, this is like 150 years ago. It's called New England Kitchen. It's a public kitchen. And it is just like our venue right now. This where we are right now, where I'm speaking at. This is a public kitchen. I'm very happy to be able to talk in a place like this. And this public kitchen used to exist 150 years ago. A lot of people came in from many countries, and then it was hard for everyone to be able to eat. So people, social workers created this public kitchen so that people can eat. So we can learn from these past experiences. And the third pillar is, so when you go towards such future, we want to think about what food is and what kind of future we would have in this society. This is actually last week. I went to Yamanashi Prefecture, Katsunuma with my students. They harvest grape. So we went to a place where food is born. And when we see places where they harvest food and meet people who grow the food, then it is a very simple thing. However, it is very, very important. People can change through these experiences. Students would like that place. And for example, we can learn about distribution. This is a local grape becoming wine. It becomes a hamburger steak. Why? This is because the grape residue or grape skin would be eaten by the pig, which is called wine pigs. And those pigs would become hamburger steak and kids would eat them as lunch. And I have talked with the students with actual examples, thinking about these circulations. So that's what I hope to continue to do. And also, this is in Saitama Prefecture. This is called an organic farming village. I went with the students, and there is a really great, delicious lunch plate made by organic food. If you taste it, you would know the difference. That students had a very great learning experience during this field work. So learning in a classroom and reading books is not enough. Not only that, but it's very important to meet the producers and go to the actual place, listen to the stories. I think they're very important aspects. And also from there, trying new vegetables that you've never have eaten, and why are they not in normal supermarkets? Why does this local neighborhood produce this certain vegetable? Students can have such questions. And this is in Yamagata Prefecture, Tsuruoka City. They are registered as a UNESCO heritage site regarding food. They're called like the city of food, capital city of food. They have a lot of projects regarding food. They have it's a plain, so they can harvest rice. Also, they have a sea, they have mountains, etc. And within our financial progress, we used to say that it's not very efficient to have a lot of food that cannot be mass produced or stably produced. However, is this actually okay? In Italy, there is a slow food project. We are also following that project, thinking about what is food. And finally, so how can we continue these projects? I always think about that. And I always take my students to the field. That's always possible anytime. And children can't do that by themselves. Then what do? They can not only face the stories of their local regions, but also they can face themselves. They can ask themselves and have their own story on food. We have such workshop. I just give out these paper dishes. People love that actually. I say, oh, please serve your dishes with your story about food. So people can write about the food they like, they don't like any episodes that is connected to food. By doing that and communicating, sharing those stories, people can connect with each other and learn how that food has built that person. So it is a very small thing, but by doing this time to time, we can talk about food and agriculture or environment. Then students would go from specific stories to broader stories, which is very good for themselves, for them to take those stories in as their own story. I just said the stomach is for yourself. A lot of students think so, but it's also when I say, oh, but it's not only for you, it's also connected to society. I always talk about the local food story that when I talk about those things. I gather local food stories and talk about the future. And then at those times I talk about agriculture and local knowledge and the food. We can combine these aspects and think about how we can be in the future, what we can do in the future. That's it from me. Thank you very much for listening. Izawa-san, thank you very much. It was a great speech. Thank you for sharing. And this book, I don't know if you can see this, but this is her newest publication. It is titled Tabemonogatari no Susume. It is an introduction to stories of food. So if you're interested, please take a look. Please check it out. Thank you very much. And next speaker would be, she is an activist in Minato Ward, Tokyo. She's Fukuzaki Seiko-san, Ms. Fukuzaki Seiko, who runs the Minato Kodomo Shokudo. Hello, I am Seiko Fukuzaki from NPO Minato Kodomo Shokudo. I am the director of that children's cafeteria, and I would like to talk about the roles and problems, current situations of children, how Japan has become such a poor country right now, and us cafeteria, what the cafeteria does, and also a lot of episodes and support that we have received as a children's cafeteria. お願いします。
申し訳ございません。手間取りました。
My apologies, it has taken some time. So about children's cafeteria, we started in 2016. When we started, it wasn't really focused on the combating the poverty in Japan, but we wanted to offer some good food, nice food, well-balanced food to families where both parents are working, and also provide the space, a very nice, relaxing communication space. And that was the purpose when we started in January 2016. Then in March, we established non-profit organization. And what's unique about our menu is that we use a lot of seasonal food. This is the bitter melon, which was grown in Minato Ward. So we use fresh local food and offer balanced food and diverse menu. Before the pandemic, we used the public facility owned by the ward And also we were able to use free the private facility for free of charge. And we had the events 2 times a month. And also the Minato Ward offered the educational program for the students at 5 venues in the ward, where we provide our handmade rice bowls 2 times a month for 90 students. In total, we made 180 rice bowls. So that was before the pandemic. Again, this is the menu. And when the pandemic hit, the facility, the public facility owned by the ward closed, and schools also closed. And the school were closed. However, the parents had to work, so that they faced the problem about how to feed their children. So for 7 days at a private facility in Inuki, we opened a space where children could come and eat lunch and then do some homework and go home. Then after that, the Minato Ward also started. So we stopped our activities after 7 days because the ward took over the similar activities. And since the public facility owned by the ward is not available, therefore we contacted a temple, Zojoji Temple, and they said we could use a food pantry, their facility for food pantry. So we shifted our focus to run the food pantry to provide food to people in need. It's been 2 years already, so depending on the COVID situation, we were able to open our program, our cafeteria. So we opened our cafeteria several times, and food pantry is continued still, and we do that once a month. So once a month, 3rd Wednesday of the month, basically. And when we conducted the cafeteria, we only had 30 to 40 families who used the cafeteria. And the venue was not that big at that time. And we were not focusing on the poor families at that time. So the adults paid 300 yen and children paid 100 yen. That was before the pandemic. And now after the pandemic, we serve 180 people almost every time. And currently we have the only people with eligibility can use it, so that people who have higher priority could come. So what's the priority? So people who have the public funding from the government, or some kind of the support from public support from the ward. So that's the first priority. But the now it's 184. It used to be 30 to 40 people, so it's almost 3 times as much as before. So over the 3 years, I think that the families who are having really struggling or having difficulties, the number is increasing, I think. And this is the venue that we use now. It's very spacious, and we have a monk who pray for us, and also he showed us what to say before we eat. And these are the food we provide at food pantry, and all of these food have been donated, or we receive some funds or donations, and these food were covered by these donations. And also the school goods is also available, snacks as well. And also school bags are also provided at the the beginning of the school year, and some the study materials as well. So these study materials and clothes are also provided. It's about 20 kilograms as much. So people come here with a carry case, big suitcase. So we have seen an increasing number of users at our cafeteria. And last year, we had the Olympic Games in Tokyo. And we learned that a large number of the lunch boxes or meal boxes were discarded and wasted. We saw that on the news, and so we discussed what to do with it. So wasting these lunches are not acceptable for us, so that we conducted the petition and got the signature from 59,072 people. And we said that we are going to get these lunch boxes before they are wasted. And we said that we would like to have them for our cafeteria. However, because of the sanitation reasons, they declined our request. We pushed really hard to overcome these sanitation issues. But anyway, so that so redistribution of the meal boxes of the Olympic Games were not acceptable and not achieved. So like this, many children are facing the situation where they have not much things to eat. So at the same time, the large amount of food are wasted like this. So this kind of unbalanced situation is happening now. And this is the results of the questionnaire that we had from the users of the cafeteria. The users are having very difficult time, and about 90% or 96% are having difficulties in financial wise. And 70% of the users are living under the annual income of 2.4 million Japanese yen, and 90% under 3.6 million yen. And this is not a single person family. They have children and live with 6 to 7 people sometimes. So during the pandemic, we see an increasing number of poor families and inequalities in the society. Again, so the number of the users, the people who receive this public support is increasing. So that's obvious. And now the restaurant industry is shrinking. Therefore, a lot of the farmers or the fisheries are struggling as well because they cannot sell the products. But now the people are facing a very difficult situation. And just like the picture we saw in the previous presentation, like 100 years ago. So the situation is really unbalanced. However, there are some positive news as well. Many private companies are providing support to us. As I said earlier, a lot of funds and donations are provided both from public to private. And we run the NPO. And so the donation comes from not only the financial support, but we have volunteer staff as well. And Coop Mirai, they purchase from farmers because there are some vegetables or the food products that cannot be sold because of the shrinking restaurant industry, so that they buy products from the farmers and then provide us. And we have a certain amount of the the products annually. And coconut and Oitsuru Daiichi. So this is the transport company. Coconut is also a transport company. So we work them and we provide, we support family. They collect donation and then provide or send the food materials to the children's cafeteria across Japan, and convenience store, Family Mart. So they have the stores all over Japan, and they run the food drive campaign. So they put some boxes in the store and collect any wasteful food, and then they provide these materials or products to the children's cafeteria. So they do this through the ward government, ward office. So that's their initiative. And not only the companies, but there are some individuals who provide support. They work with certain supplier, and then they purchase certain products through the supplier and provide them to the children's cafeteria. And we also get support from companies who are really working on the SDGs. So to reduce food loss, the corporation or enterprises carry these products. So that's how they support us. So this is incredible. So even though we have the pandemic and then a widening gap between the rich and poor, however, we have a lot of support from these corporations, and they conduct these projects. And this is the future roles of children's cafeteria. So we would like to provide many opportunities for dreams and learning to children through eating experiences. And some of the this example could be like farming experience, or the pro wrestling wrestlers came to help us. And also, so it's not only the learning, but they could see that there are many job opportunities in the market and meeting new people. So, and as we heard in the previous presentation, that's the role that we have. And for children or for the families with small children, we meet them directly and collect information. And through these events, we would like to share their experiences. That's a role that we have.
一人で来ます。中学3年生の子、体重はそうですね、40キロないぐらい
So
の。
there's like a junior high school student who's less than 150 centimeters, but it is obviously underweight. They're called young carers. They usually have a sick mother or mentally ill family. And when in those situations, children would come and get the food, but they wouldn't have a coat in the winter. I always wonder if this is actually Japan, but there are a lot of kids like that. So it is very important to catch such information as soon as possible and communicate with the ward, or if they are going under some kind of domestic violence, then I would have to communicate with the ward, etc. And sometimes I'm a lawyer. So some people say, oh, can I consult you, do some consultation to you regarding some laws and regulations? And I have done those free consultations before. So there are things that we can do at the field. And then in order to solve food loss and make the Earth's environment better, we have to, so the children's cafeteria can become a base to circulate food and distribute food, and also share information between people. Many companies are working on this, and I've been learning a lot from that, but we can use the children's cafeteria as a base for that. And also, with the municipal government, they usually cannot really work very speedily, but with us, people can tell the municipality that there is a need, demand in the society, then we can also spread the word. I think we have a very heavy responsibility at children's cafeterias. And so what are our issues right now? One is we do not know when and where there would be food loss. So it's very hard to have the real-time information, especially when the children's cafeteria is very big. So, but still we are trying to create a system that is as efficient as possible by communicating with local or farmers around, local or non-local farmers around. For example, we got a lot of vegetables from farmers in Kumamoto Prefecture. A company that support us have paid for those vegetables that could not be sold in normal supermarkets. And the second issue is the transportation and also human resources. When we manage a children's cafeteria, a lot of retired senior members or those who have time when their children are outside, so there are not enough men who can transport heavy vegetables or heavy food. So we are trying to solve this through the support of other companies. And also we have a lot of food that are distributed right now, but actually originally we want to give children or people organic food or no food without additives that's safe. This is also a problem in school cafeterias, but we are trying to use as much as healthy food and serve as much healthy food as possible. That's our goal. And also the fourth issue, measure to provide food to those who are in need the most. I just was introduced as the cafeteria in the middle of Minato Ward. Minato Ward is a place who is usually very affluent. There are a lot of rich people live in this ward, but still, there still are a lot of poor people here. So I really wish everyone can support us. Thank you very much for listening today. So there are over 6,000 children's cafeterias in Japan. So thank you very much for talking about the current situation and issues of children's cafeterias. Thank you very much, Ms. Fukusaki. So next, Kuradashi, a food loss prevention company. The CEO of Kuradashi is going to give us his presentation. Hello, my name is Tatsuya Sekito, the CEO and representative of Kuradashi. And everyone who is here, everyone who have supported, everyone who gave me this opportunity, thank you so much. Well, currently, well, in the beginning, everyone talked about great projects that they're working on. And with this opportunity, Kuradashi also we hope we can support and communicate with other projects and institutes, because communication and cooperation is key. So yes, let me talk about what we do. 2015 February, our service started as a social good market. We sold food that were going to be disposed in a cheaper price online. So we aimed to cut food loss and sell food that might be discarded, even though it can still be eaten in a cheaper price. So you can also Google our service, and our sales profit are being donated in environmental protection or disaster support groups. So our business model looks like this. What we value is social, environmental, and financially great business model where everyone can profit. Our corporate supporting makers would share with us their food that would be disposed in a cheap price. And also food manufacturers would also can also cut their costs. And also based on sustainability and SDGs, cooperating with us can heighten their brand image as well. And also on the right-hand side, the user's side. So we sell food maximum 97% off in a really, really cheap price. So, and also users can donate 1 to 5% of the money they have paid for the food at Kuradashi. So the more you use Kuradashi, you can heighten the value of social value, and you can do good and contribute to the society. For example, this is from Nisui. This product is from Nisui. There's a lot of cutlet inside. However, this is 90% off. It is meant to be around $100, and now it is like $15. Now it's meant to be $150. Now it's like $15. So these supporting companies would choose which products to list. And this cutlet is they are sold because they cannot use normal, the usual selling route. And then when you use Kuradashi, you would have your own My Page. And there you can see how much food loss you have cut, you have contributed to cut, and then you can see how much money you have used and supported Kuradashi. People would just, our website is also very much used by families. So it's like a lot of parents say that they teach their kids about food loss and choose what to purchase together with their kids. And thank you to the support, we have had 85 million yen of support from various institutions. And the effects of our projects of what we do is we have cut 11,000 tons of food loss. In CO2, we have reduced the CO2 emission by 29,000 tons. And in the social needs, social demand of Kuradashi would be here, the orange part. the sales as the financial goal and social value, which is a non-financial goal. Balancing these two goals is very, very difficult, but Kuradashi can balance these out and as a social good company. When we have started this company, we always focused on balancing these two goals. Now we have entered the 9th fiscal year, and we are doing very successfully. I guess I can just prove that we can actually balance these two goals. And now we have more and more members every day. And in fact, we have 350,000 members at the moment. And these are comments from users. For example, they're saying, I can see how much social contribution I have done. So it's very happy for me to see. I feel very happy when I see it. And also we deal with 990 companies. They are usually food manufacturers or like food related companies. It is a very, very, a lot of people say it is a very, very innovative service in the food industry, because food loss is a very important and important issue to solve. So by having their product on Kuradashi, they are not going to use any cost to dispose the food, and also they can contribute to SDGs, and also match with the consumers and do social good and make their brand image better. So we started our service in 2015 February, and 7 months later, the social union stated the Sustainable Development Goals, only 7 months after our establishment. And Kuradashi can achieve the SDG goals because anyone can join our project. And our service we have received a lot of awards until today. For example, we've been getting a lot of awards from the Bureau of Minister of the Environment or Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, etc., or Ministry of Consumer Affairs, etc. And the other day, the Minister of Consumer Affairs, when I first met him, he was like, oh, like, I wish you do well. But when he gave us a comment at the SDGs award, he said, oh, please promote yourselves as much as possible and please grow. So many stakeholders are trying, I think it's a very great thing that a lot of stakeholders are being involved in this.
We also work with the Chamber of Commerce. So in the local community, 4 years ago, there was the law to reduce to promote the reducing the food loss, and we conclude the alliance with the local government. And we would like to engage the civic society, and also we work with a private corporation how to exit from the food loss. And the big local government includes the Osaka Prefecture and Kanagawa Prefecture. We also work with Tokyo Chamber of Commerce and also the Ogaki City in Gifu Prefecture. So we partner with these local governments and organizations, and we expand our network. And the mission of Kuradashi is that to become a social good company and continue to do so, and provide the contributions the economically and the environmentally friendly. and not only provide support for the private, those organizations, but our company itself, that we contribute to the environment. And that's how we came up with the idea of Kuradashi Fund. So the Kuradashi Fund is what we started. So the certain percentage of our sales goes to the fund to be used for the local town revitalization, food bank support, and educational programs, as well as the food sustainability study group. Now I would like to elaborate on that. So first, Kuradashi Challenge. Some students call this Kurachare in the using the abbreviation. So that's the social serving internship programs. And what we would like to achieve through this challenge is that to tackle social challenges. For example, increase the population of relevant people. During the pandemic, the local societies could be very vulnerable, so that we would like to make it more sustainable. And Professor Yuzawa mentioned, it's not only about the lectures, but we need to provide more practical activities that could lead to the SDGs education. And compared to the before, the food production through the consumer sites, that is a long way. So when I visited the local areas, I often talk about this episode in the ice break. They said, I asked what is the fish that available in Tokyo, and then half of them drew the picture of sushi. That's a kind of joke, but I asked university students all the way from Hokkaido through Okinawa. We have the areas that we work on, and then their local food. Then the Kuradashi purchase these vegetables and the farms, and then provide to the agricultural association. So that's another kind of circular economy. Then the transportation fees to visit these local areas, that is covered by Kuradashi Fund. So I'm saying that the contributing the reducing the food loss. So that's the purchase is one thing, but also so the users would like to support us because they like this this initiative. And sometimes I participate in this initiative when I have time. I meet young students, and we learn a lot from these young students. And also the food producers, they are very happy to have these people coming to their farms. And the other day, we had the first alliance with the educational institution. And Kuradashi Challenge that I mentioned is that that could be their university grades. And I hope that we could have a new alliance with the university where Professor Yuzawa works. And purchasing the Kuradashi products, you can contribute to the reducing food loss. And also you can contribute to improving the environmental issues. And so this is regarded as a very practical programs that you can do at university. As for food bank business, we work with many organizations. And as the Dr. Fukuzaki mentioned, so distributing these food is quite challenging. And we have to secure the freshness of food so that the matching speed also matters. And the food companies, they might think that they don't want to waste, but it's also at the same time, it's very difficult to donate the food. If they have that issue, then we would like to we secure the fairness. Sometimes the food bank, sometimes the donation could go to a certain organization proportionately. Then that is lacking the fairness and safety. Depends on the organization. For example, some facilities are in the environment where they cannot use air conditioning, and the room temperature could go up until 40 degrees Celsius. And to secure safety, we support that area, and the Kuradashi Fund used to offer the refrigerator to such organizations. And also the stability, so providing food in a stable manner matters. So supporting food bank to secure the food and in a stable manner, in a speedy, timely manner. And that is funded from our Kuradashi Fund. And Kuradashi has the different locations, and to the Fukusaki-san's office, the cafeteria, it only takes about 15 minutes on foot. So I would like to work with Fukusaki-san as soon as possible for this, to support them. So we have support from these people. And we send out the information on the website so that it's always visible about what we do in the program. And this is not only about promoting our activities, but it's also securing the transparency of our activities. And finally, we have established the study group about food sustainability. The purpose is that it's not only the food loss, but also the climate change and supply chain disruption and palm oil deforestation issue. So there are issues like that in the world. And the people in the world, in Japan, I hope that everyone could access food in a safe manner. And to be able to do so, it's a very difficult, big problem to tackle if we do it alone. We have a big network. If the restaurants are bankrupt, then the wholesalers could bankrupt as well. And we are seeing increasing risks for that. So as a Kuradashi, we have been working for 9 years, and then we are going to expand our collaboration. And on October 26th, in Mitsui Fudosan Conference Hall, we are going to have a forum called Food Sustainability Co-Creation and Collaboration. If you Google this, then you can look up the information about the conference. And finally, as I said in the beginning of my presentation, I would like to extend my appreciation for giving me this opportunity to speak to you. And I'm very happy that we can connect through the common challenges and common goals. And we hope that we can work together to maximize our collaboration and efforts. And thank you very much for your attention. That's a very complex social topic, the food loss. And you mentioned that even more bigger possibility of collaboration. I am very have a strong hope for that. Thank you very much for your presentation. Now I would like to welcome the final speaker, Mr. Kan Morieda. He is a very unique chef from Hokkaido, where the electricity isn't provided in an unstable manner. But we would like to hear from you about the sustainable food. Can you please hold on?
While
we are waiting, can you hope you are ready? Okay, please hold on. So to the audience, if you have any questions, please put your questions on the chat box. Now we would like to pass the floor to Mr. Morieda. Thank you very much. I'm Morieda. I'm chef. I live in Taikicho in Hokkaido. And this here, I am supporting Gramping to develop their menus. So over the past few days, I see bears, wild bears outside.
今回、僕が発表するプロジェクトはですね、T カード五島の魚プロジェクト。今北海道なんですけど、五島で行ったプロジェクトについてお話しさせていただきます。はい、今回テーマは競争とビッグデータで社会解決ということでやっていきました。で今回テーマにしているのは未利用食材をテーマにした、プロジェクトです。未利用食材というのは、形が悪かったりとか変色していたりと、一部傷んでいたりする野菜だったりとか、あとは生産の途中で摘化する果物ですとか、あとは生産過程で出る副産物などを副産物のですね、豆腐のおからや酒粕、あとはお酒を作るときに出るお米を削ったものだったりとか、いろんな副産物があると思います。で今回取り組んだものはですね、未利用の、お魚をテーマに使っています。はい、未利用魚と言いましても、いろんな未利用魚がいて、食味が悪い。
皆様、失礼いたします。森枝シェフ、ちょっと今一旦止めていただいてもよろしいですか。通訳者の方の声が、ちょっと今。
Sorry, I was in the wrong channel. I'm very sorry.
森枝シェフ、お待たせいたしました。再開お願いいたします。
森枝さん、please start.
はい、僕は今までいろいろな未利用魚
So I've been using a lot of unused ingredients until today. I've had a lot of projects. The black bass or red swamp crayfish that eat the local breeds in the fresh water. Black bass are, when Japanese people hear that, you might think, oh, can you eat black bass? Actually, they can be eaten. They came into Japan as food to eat, as fish to eat, edible fish. So if you don't know if it's a black bass, people would say, oh, it's very good, it's great fish. So you can actually eat them. And also on land, exotic species like snakes and the snapping turtle, reptiles. Snapping turtle are very good. They have a lot of, they're very tasty. It is not very easy to cook, but it's surprisingly good. A lot of umami inside. And also in the waters, like inshore hagfish. You call it eel in Japanese, but it's a very long fish, but it's very sticky. And if you have that inshore hagfish in the same net as normal fish, the net would be too sticky and other fish would be hard to use. So a lot of workers don't really like this inshore hagfish. Also moray with a very sharp teeth. And they also have a lot of bones, so it's not very easy to cook. But I use those fish as well. And also, I use a lot of insects, but not as protein, but I use it like spice. Like there's a fish, there's a insect that smell like apricot seeds. I just mix them in cream, etc. And also I would put some insect that smell like coriander in my dish. And also I used to operate a company workers cafeteria. At that time, I used to use not unused ingredients, but I reduced the cost by purchasing like pig feet or like pig ears, those uncommon or non-popular parts of the pig to reduce the cost of meat. And what I focused on this time is about the islands of Goto Islands. It's Goto is that the red part in the slide. There are a lot of fish. This is Nagasaki Prefecture in Japan. However, there are a lot of transportation cost problems, which can so we cannot really ship them to Tokyo or regions nearby Tokyo. Like, okay, we can put 2 fish in here. Or sometimes due to the boxing issue, you have to have 2 fishes to ship them out, but you only caught 1 fish, so you cannot sell that fish, or like some fish with a really strong smell cannot be shipped. There are such issues. And there are this much fish, variety of fish in Goto Island. So there are this many fish, and a lot of these fish are very delicious, but
使われない魚の一次産業の問題を解決するために、
So in order to solve these problems in the primary industry, we have to promote the sixth industry by making this the sixth industry, because primary industries are not enough. They don't have enough power. The hurdle's too high. So only with the local community, there's not enough network and insights, and it's very hard to solve. So what we did is this. We have gathered stakeholders. First, representative consumers. They are tea members, members who really like seafood, joined this project using the tea members purchasing data and network. And then another stakeholder is the producers. They interviewed what the problems are. And also another stakeholder is the distributors. And then I entered this project to create a sixth industry. And we use big data that looks like this when we choose the consumers who are interested in food and fish. So when we usually produce something, there's a producer, and the producer and the chef would collaborate together. But this time, we have the facilitator in the middle, and we have all these stakeholders such as the distributor, city office, consumer, chef, manufacturer, and the consultation company. I, for example, had fish that had a very strong smell. I used those special fish. And this Hamaguchi Suisan, when I had an idea to use a fish that I used to not use before, they have helped me in selecting the fish and also shared with me of sample fishes. Then I asked the consumers to try out the new product. We had those sessions, and then in the supermarket, in order to know at which location within the supermarket would be ideal to put that product. We have talked with the supermarkets as well. We did a lot of team building and had discussions and came together within the people from different backgrounds. So there are a lot of, so then after all the discussions, we decided to create a yofu salsiccia, which is like a Western salsiccia, Italian sausage. So after what we have decided that it would be good, this salsiccia would be used at a very, at a nice eating, nice dinner, or like nice eating environment among adults, like which go well with alcohol. And when the things that go well with alcohol are usually processed, and then we would need to decide the flavor, the smell, packaging, size, price, etc. And then we decided the directions that we would go to by going through, looking at the big data and discussing with each other. So the targets would be those who usually purchase premium beer, like a little luxurious, a little bit expensive beer. Then we decided which supermarkets or stores to put our products at and where those targets live. And what our theme that we have decided is a small luxury everyday choice, always shop based on your preferences. It's a fish ham. And so a lot of stakeholders collaborated together to create this product. And it's usually it's hard to create a very fascinating product when only a limited number of people are in the project. But by collaborating with a lot of stakeholders, we were able to create a product that can use unused fish that can create a new social value. And we want to continue helping helping the industry in Goto Island in a sustainable way. So I guess this project profited everyone. Thank you very much. Sorry, I had some reception issues. And so I couldn't really see my speaker notes, so I could not really deliver a perfect speech, but thank you for listening. So using big data and collaborating with stakeholders, they were able to create a product with unused fish, and that profited everyone. Thank you very much, Morieta Chef. So now all 4 speakers have shared their presentations, and now we'd like to move on to the Q&A session. If within the audience, if you have any questions, please shoot a comment in the chat box. From me, I have one question. First, I would like to have one same question to everyone, to all the speakers. I have 2 questions actually.
My first question, thank you very much for sharing your activities relevant to how to reduce food loss and waste. And creating new values you have talked about the creating new values, and that is another challenge. But given that situation, how do you motivate people or motivate yourself and your people? So I would like to ask the same question to all of you, for speakers. First, I would like to ask Professor Yuzawa to answer that question. Again, I'm Yuzawa. Thank you for your question. And listening to all the presentations given by 4 speakers, and I would like to answer to your question. So when we have difficulties, how do we overcome that issue? And in my case, so through this seminar, the collaboration is a key, and connecting with other people is crucial. And when we connect people with people, connecting with the locals and other stakeholders, as well as the people in the past, Nicole Varelli said that going into the future while stepping back. So when you go into the future, you look ahead, then face the challenges. But if you look back, like the initiatives 100 years ago or 150 years ago, then think about people now and also in the past and connect with people and look for your colleagues and friends. And so that is how you could overcome, and that is my way.
はい、以上になります。
Okay, so that's the answer to your first question.
伊沢先生の勇気づけられる視点を
Yes, thank you very much, Professor Yuzawa. That was very encouraging
同
comment.
じ質問ですけれども
Now I would like to ask Dr. Fukuzaki.
食堂の現場にいますと、
Yes, when I work for the cafeteria,
子供たちがいます。私の
we
場合
meet
大
children
体面倒
every day,
なところの大人の
and
大人の関
the
係
troubles happen
それが起
when
こった時
we
に
work with
子供たち
adults.
の何の
And
ことを
with,
してるか
when something like that happens, then the children,
とかそういう
we
声を見て考えることができるので、まあ
um,
幸せな立場にあると思うんですけど
I look at the children's smiles about, and then through their smiles, we think about the issue.
強いミッションに
And then we are always encouraged to build a stronger future for children. And then, as we all heard now, collaboration is key. We cannot work alone. Even if I say the strong mission, but collaborating with people and sharing insights and ideas, that's really good. And today I learned a lot. And then now I would like to work with all of you, Professor Yuzawa, Morieda-san, and then the Sekito-san. So that would be the way that I could overcome our challenges. Now I would like to ask President Sekito and also the chef Morieda, who are connecting online. So I would like to hear from Mr. Sekito how to overcome the difficulties and how to motivate yourself. To me, I have never been discouraged or demotivated, because if I connect with people and then collaborate with people and then I get more responsibilities, sometimes I feel overwhelmed feel too much responsibility. But then I can imagine the smiles of people beyond that. And also the passion to improve the global environment. So that is why I have never been demotivated. Then when a big earthquake happened in more than 20 years ago, and I was a university student in Osaka, and when a big highway collapsed because of the earthquake, I went to the disaster site because I thought I would be able to help. Then I realized that there was just a little thing that I could do as a person alone. Then after that, I witnessed that the food, the aid that was going to be supported, and that was could affect the food circulation from all the way production to the distribution. So my way is that like a backcasting. So that is how I overcome the difficulties. Thank you very much. Mai-san, you are unmuted. You're muted. Thank you very much. Yes. Looking at your smile, Mr. Sekito, I could understand that you have never been discouraged, and you had an experience back in 1985 when the big earthquake happened in Osaka. And I have a same question to Mr. Morieda. I feel a bit hesitant after to give a comment after these three people. But we should never give up and then engage a lot of people, and we should continue on what you do. And use unused materials and ingredients, and that should be good taste. But also, I also care about it must be something really fun. And for example, fish and chips, you use fish and then potato. But I'll also use small fish. It tastes nice when you fry them well. Then, but they have small bones, so that I open it and take out the bones and then put them back like a fish shape. Then, so that kind of the tiny idea is also included in my project, and then so that is something I really enjoy. And I'm not sure whether this is something that I have that motivates me. During my presentation, I was not able to see the speaker's notes, so that my presentation was not really good, but I enjoyed my presentation. Okay, thank you very much. So as a chef, you pursue the taste as well as the something fun in your project. So now moving on to the second question. Probably the audience have this question. So every day we think about the concern about the food loss. And sometimes people feel guilty about food loss. And if people are willing to take actions, I hope to have your messages to people or audience who are willing to take actions. Okay, let me answer to your question. Listening to all other speakers, there are the projects or programs that I wanted to start, like together with Morieda-san or Sekito-san and Fukusaki-san in her project at the Children's Cafeteria. So having these opportunities was really good. And when I speak to university students, as well as the elementary school students, combining the learning and the play is a key. And so that will give you some rooms or space. And we heard the word team building and collaboration. So through the team building, the next step is how to collaborate. So connecting children, adults at the Children's Cafeteria. Then the project will be not only the food loss projects for adults, but also that would be the projects for small children. And instead of educating small children, we can play together with them and then learn about it. And the balancing between the combating the food loss and the social service is really possible through the companies like Kuradashi. And the purpose of this session is that combining the food education and food loss combating. So I hope that we can have the more spaces or opportunities where you can learn, but you can also play. So that creates a space for something fun. That is something I would like to do next. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. So creating a room or space, so that would be important. especially during the pandemic. And that is mentioned in your newspaper, children's newspaper. So thank you very much. So same question to Dr. Fukuzaki. Can you give us some message to those who would like to take new actions? Yes. Move one step forward. Anything is okay. Visit food drive or visit children's cafeteria as a volunteer, or anything is possible. So make a small step would be very important. The 17 goals of Sustainable Development Goals, they are all connected. We have one world, so that the social issues are connected everywhere. So the children's poverty issue, and also the food loss issue, that unbalance issue could be solved, and that could lead to improving the environment and then creating a better future in the world. So that your first step forward would lead to a better world in the future, even if your voice is small, but then anything would be possible, and we would like to make a step forward and we can work together. Yes, looking at your smiles and also listening to your practical projects, then your voice is representing the 6,000 children's cafeteria all over Japan. And also Dr. Yuasa, who created the picture, who was not available today. But what you mentioned about the roles of your organization, so that so each organization have your roles, and we also appreciate your support to us. Again, I have the same question to President Sekito. So can you give us a message to the audience who would like to take new actions? Yes. First of all, please search Kuradashi on Google and then learn about our business. This is not the advertisement, but having a first step for action is really good. Then doing something good for society. That is something I have been thinking about since the big earthquake. It's not the trade-off, but that is something that you can do when you do something else. So that means that it's not about caring other children than your own children. It's not that. So we should have the more casual space where you share food with your neighbors. And if you have some waste, then you could deliver to the children's cafeteria. So that is possible. And we have the schemes in Kuradashi. So on this occasion, I hope that you will utilize our service. So not purchasing for your own, but that could help other people. So it's the opposite side of sustainable. And that is something that I think of. Thank you.
So right now, there are a lot of 350,000 users and members, but I bet there will be more and more members. And those who are involved, by being more and more people involved, I guess they can realize how fun it is to socially contribute and reduce food loss. Thank you very much for creating such a business model. And finally, as a chef, you have changed and used fish to something delicious and fun. Please give a comment to those who want to act, want to take action. So I am just like others, like just like Fukuzaki-san. A lot of people say, how can I do this? How can I do something like that? But I don't, it's not like I learned I learned what to do from someone. I just took action on my own. If you have anything you want to do, if you find anything, before thinking, you can just start. Always trying to make that a routine. You always do that. If you have some idea, just try doing something. I guess chefs and do that all the time at work. But before taking action, you can also think maybe, okay, can this tackle food loss, or like, can this food be eaten well in this way? You can have various viewpoints. Well, that's also very important. Still, it's important to just take action. So please try, but still, purchasing from Kuradashi, I think, is the best thing to do. Thank you. Thank you very much for giving us courage. Great comments. I hope this can lead to people to take action. And also, thank you very much for sharing your honest opinions. So this event today, upon realizing this event today, we had these 4 special speakers. And not only them, but this Kitchen Lab Suiba, this venue we have borrowed, and also we have a lot of staff. Tokyo Tatemono have collaborated with us, and also the interpreters have helped us to facilitate today's meeting. I'm actually very happy about this. And also, even though it is dinner time and you're very busy with work, thank you very much, everyone, for attending today's meeting. And finally, representing Future Food Institute, Alexander would like to give his closing speech. Sorry, Mr. Alessandro.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I have a message later. Okay. And thank you for your presentation. Thank you for your speech. And is it fine? Okay. Okay. And I followed the presentations, and few words. Few words were for me very impressive, from play, learn, create value, create a positive impact in the society, create spaces. Everything that you did and you're doing is strictly correlated also on what the Future Food is doing. And we are happy that we have a lot of connection, and especially when you talked about food education is important, has create new recipes, and also take care of the people and learn from the people that you have close to you. So I would like to say thank you to all of you. And also you shared how hack is very important, how we need to this mindset to change things. We need this approach, because if we start with this approach, if we start with this mindset, then we could create the positive impact that we are talking about. especially if today we are here for the International Day of Food Loss and Waste. So the positive impact that we have today are very, very valuable. And I invite all of you also to join the social media campaign every everyone could do something, could create awareness, and so please join the campaign, and also everyone that is online follow Future Food Institute, FAO, WWF, UN Environment Program, and Food for Soul account, and follow the discussion all around the world, starting from here, starting from Japan. Every plate counts challenge. And thank you again for your speech. And let's close. Thank you.